You said you grew up in a humble household with a single mother. What motivated you to not only get your education, but go on to college and become a doctor? Hi, and welcome to another edition of Talk Back for Teens. I'm your host, Olivia Harrison.
And I'm Bernard Rogers.
And today we have with us a wonderful, prominent woman, our guest, Dr. Candace Baldwin from RIT. Thanks for being with us today, Dr. Baldwin.
Thanks so much for having me. It's so exciting to be here.
Well, today we just want to ask you a few questions about what makes you a prominent woman in your community. First off, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm the director of the Multicultural Center for Academic Success at RIT. We run a series of programs, including the Summer Bridge program, an MCAS Scholars program, and something that may be particularly interesting to this audience is the Rochester City Scholars program, which provides full tuition to students who graduate from the Rochester City School District. I also advise several groups, including Unity House, which is a special interest house at RIT, and DIVAS, which stands for Determined Individuals Victoriously Achieving Success, which is a support and empowerment group for women of color.
And what made you really come up with this idea for DIVAS? Tell us a little bit about it.
I really just wanted to help build the self-esteem and support among women. I feel sometimes our relationships weren't as strong, and I feel that we could be more supportive of each other. Mm-hmm. And when they learn to value the relationships with other women and learn to value themselves and understand themselves and learn more about themselves, they can have more of those healthy relationships, and then they can in turn be role models to other women on campus to have these types of positive, healthy relationships.
That sounds great. I think that's very important. With having some of the stereotypes of women being portrayed, in the media, how do you guys go about combating some of those things through your program?
Well, I think it's really just being aware of the stereotypes, especially as women of color. I mean, individuals look at you through different lenses. The first lens could be sort of that mammy, that mother role. Another one is sort of that Jezebel or video vixen, more sexualized. But then they also have that sapphire, angry black woman. When you're just like, I'm just Candace, I'm just Olivia, but you have to be aware of how people are perceiving you. And so I try to let them help them understand to be aware about those perceptions, but don't allow those perceptions to define them.
Now speak to some of those relationships that you talk about that these girls form. How important is it that these women learn that they can have these relationships and they can be, support systems for them?
Yes, I mean, when you look at women, we are the nurturers, we are the supporters, we are the backbones of the community. But I find sometimes among women, we'll throw away another relationship with another female, but we'll fight for relationships with our males. And so within this group, I help them understand the value of their relationships with other women. And the biggest part of that is building trust. Mm-hmm. Trusting that you trust yourself and you trust that these individuals have your back. But also, again, understanding yourself. We're all flawed individuals. We all have insecurities, but that doesn't mean that we have to lead with them or put our insecurities on other people. So I think by providing this safe space, this trusting environment, the women can talk about the things that they don't feel so secure about or the things that are bothering them, and they understand that the other women in the group support them, they love them how they are, mm-hmm. and provide different advice for them to help them get through their situations. And I think also sometimes when you're marginalized or you're going through different things, you think you're the only one. Mm-hmm. And I think as the women continue to tell their stories, they see those commonalities and they realize I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one who, struggles with my body image. I'm not the only one who struggles with my classes and feels that I'm not as smart, or I don't feel that I'm pretty, or, I'm worthy to love, or I feel alone, or I don't have friends.
That's great.
Awesome.
Now, being that you guys are a initiative that's on campus, what kinds of events do you guys have going on to get people to know about who you are?
Well, we're designed to be small and to keep things in-house. I started this initiative at Mount Ida College, which was a previous institution that I worked at. So I brought it to RIT, but I want them to make DIVAS work for themselves. So things that they've that they do is that they mentor other young women. They put together this beautiful video on understanding the dangers of the internet for middle school and high school girls. They plan different events on sexual health. They've done a men's appreciation dinner. They've done a Get Fit challenge. We have different retreats. So we're more internally focused, but we do some events externally. But again, it's about modeling those positive and healthy relationships. And if they see another young woman struggling, you know, I look to my divas, they go out and they're like, no, you have a friend, we're here, and try to provide some upliftment and encouragement to them.
That's great.
Where do you envision the program of Divas going in the future?
Honestly, I would like to see Divas at a lot of campuses all over the U.S. What I would like to see Divas going is that the Divas will graduate and they'll be young professional women, and they'll create these type of support networks and mentoring networks in their profession, whether it's in education or law, whatever they're doing. And then again, that sort of lifting as we climb sort of model that we talk about in MCAS, that'll happen in Divas. Because if we continue to role model and show our flawed self, and we show healthy and positive networks and mentoring, the women who are coming behind us will start to model those more positive behaviors. Because like you were saying, in terms of the media and perceptions, I think at young ages, women see, you know, I need to be competitive. You're not anything if you don't have a man. You have to dance the best. You have to get the attention, you know, and so those are the things that sort of guide their mindset versus having that relationship with other women and valuing it. They're not their competition, but they're your network and your support system.
From hearing you speak, you know, and doing some research on the Divas website, it sounds like one of the core, you know, beliefs is creating well-rounded women, which is great. So that leads me into my next question. What does being a prominent woman mean to you? And, you know, do you bring a lot of those core values into that as well?
You know, it's interesting for you to say to be a prominent woman. I don't seek to be a prominent woman, but I just seek to live my life in a certain way and be a role model that exhibits certain traits. So I try to be honest. I try to be authentic and transparent. You know, I try to be helpful. I try to be involved. I try to give back. And so those things are just what's in me. A lot of people that are watching don't know my story. They may look at me and say, oh, she's the director of the Multicultural Center, but I'm a first-generation college student. I grew up very, very humble means from a single mother in a very, very poor neighborhood, and education really changed my life. And I've had a lot of mentors, and I've had a lot of individuals who saw something in me and helped me see things that I didn't see within myself. And so I'm just sort of a manifestation of that mentoring and support, and that's what I try to do as well in my everyday life.
You mentioned that you had prominent women when you grew up that kind of helped you to become the woman you are today. What do you wish or hope that other women see when they look at you and the Divas and, you know, other women in their community? What do you hope that they think of?
You know, I hope they think of strength, but I think that also transparency. You don't have to have it all, you know, a balance. I want them to see that it's not only about yourself, but about other people. So I try to help other people be successful and help other people win. You know, you don't have to be the person given the winning shot in order to win the game. You can pass the ball and let someone else take the winning shot, and then everyone win. So I hope they see that. I hope they see a person of integrity. I hope they see someone who's humble, who works hard, who loves hard, who plays hard, who's a multifaceted individual, who's not defined by a lot of those stereotypes. And I hope they also see, sometimes as women, there's sort of this glass ceiling. I hope they see me as someone who's really trying to crack that. And I'm not going to be limited by where I came from or what I'm doing, but always seeking to be better. And I think another thing that I believe in, I always talk about, is possibilities. You know, if you just dream that something can happen and you just want something bigger than what you're already doing or who you are, you're always going to be striving for something. So I hope I give them a little hope. I hope I give them the freedom to feel like that they can dream and they could, be starry-eyed and have the rose-colored glasses and want something better and more.
What do you think motivates you to keep on dreaming and keep on pushing forward? You said you grew up in a humble household with a single mother. What motivated you to not only get your education, but go on to college and become a doctor, and now look where you are now? What continues to motivate you and keep you going?
What motivates me is the other women and men coming behind me. I felt like I was the only one. A lot of times I was the youngest or the only person of color or the only woman in my classes or in my profession and the things that I'm doing. And so what motivates me is that I'm breaking ceilings, knocking down doors so that other people can walk through them and be successful. So that motivates me. What motivates me as well is that I don't want to go back to the life in which I grew up. My mother did the best that she could, but when I have my own family and start my own life, I want to do something better for them. And I think possibilities motivate me. I'm just always striving for something better and something more. And, I just like what could be, and I think that's just my outlook, and I'm just optimistic. So every day I dream of something new. And then when I accomplish it, I'm just like, oh, what if I did something else?
Now, we can definitely tell from talking to you today that working hard is something that you definitely live by. But how important is it that you not only work hard, but also play hard?
Oh, it is extremely important. You need that balance. You need that outlet. If you're always doing things that you have to do and not the things that you want to do, you can become dull. You can get stressed out. Stress kills. I will say that for the camera. It just manifests in your body in so many ways. So I try to take those opportunities to play hard and not to take myself too seriously. Sometimes when you accomplish a lot or you do a lot, you can sometimes believe the hype, and I'm always like, don't gas me up. I like driving on E, and so I think playing hard keeps me humble. I think my family, knowing where I came from, keeps me humble. So playing hard, I love, to dance. I love old school music. I like watching movies. I love to play cards. I love spending time with my friends and talking on the phone. I love making people laugh and smile. So, I think that's very, very important, because if you don't have that balance, you just burn out and you may not like the person you become. My degree, my job are things that I have. It's not who I am. The smiling, the possibilities, the laughter, the games, the relationships are who I am.
Yeah. And I think that's great that you say that, because I feel a lot of times people look at individuals who are in great positions, whether locally or nationally, and they think that it's constant work and it's constant, doing things to help you move up. But like you said, it's a lot of time they take those moments to relax or take those moments to breathe in the fresh air.
You made a good point also about believing in possibilities, that it doesn't matter where you come from, it's about where you're going, and always staying positive. I think that's something really important that you mentioned, that the power of positivity is so incredible that it can take you from level A to level bajillion. You can go so far with just a positive attitude. It really can make or break you in situations.
Yes.
So for our young individuals watching out there, what's one piece of advice that you would give to them, or maybe to your younger self?
I would say to them to really find someone that they can look up to, and they may come in a different package than you thought. It may not be your mother or your father or your teacher, but, get a role model. Get someone that can help you. They can tell you things that are great about yourself, things that you did wrong, and things that you can just do better. I think for myself, I was a little bit more shy at first before going to college, and I kind of kept to myself, and I knew there was a lot of things that I didn't know, and that was sort of my Achilles heel. So I didn't want anyone to know that I didn't know what kind of fork to use, and I didn't know how to conjugate the to-be verb, and I didn't really know how to dress. But once I became open and I got mentors, they taught me all of those things, so I in turn taught someone else. But I think also for young people, if you help anyone else, that's younger than you or that's in your community, you feel so much better, and they give back as well because you can learn something from everyone. So just be open to possibilities, be open to learning new things, and be committed to trying to do something better and be better each day.
Can you speak to us about that openness? Because I feel a lot of times we, especially coming from some of the environments that we come from, tend to be closed-minded, and speak to just how that can limit you.
It definitely limits you. I think in our community, a lot of us struggle in silence. And I mean, I think even sometimes our parents instill that in us. Don't let anybody know what's going on at home.
Yeah.
You know, don't take our business in the street. But I think when you find someone that you can trust, if you just kind of open up, maybe not about your family life, but just about the things that are important to you, it can be helpful. And if, as you're building the trusting relationships, if you don't feel like you can trust a person all the way, if you see someone who's a great dresser, just talk to them about dressing well. You meet someone else who's a great speaker, and you just talk to them about speaking. You meet someone who's just extremely positive and optimistic and happy, and just ask them, how do you have that mindset? So you can learn something great from each individual person. Again, we're all flawed. No one's perfect. So if you're not willing to open up your entire self to just one person, you know, open up a little bit of yourself to each individual that you meet.
That's awesome. What do you think are some things that you've learned growing up through the years? You know, learned about yourself, learned about being a woman, and some things that you've really taken to heart?
Wow. I think, again, just the power of lifting as you climb and giving back. I feel so inspired and motivated even days when I don't feel so myself, because I know that someone else is waiting for me or needs something from me, or I've made a difference. I think I've learned that it's okay not to have the answer and not okay to be perfect. I also think that it's okay to just be. Again, being first generation, I've achieved a lot early on, and I realized that I achieved a lot too because I felt like I had something to prove. And if you're only doing things for the recognition or the validation, it can become empty. You get it, and then what, and then what, and then what, you know? So, you know, just be okay with just being okay to just be. And make sure that you're being motivated by yourself and your values and the things that you want to do, and not because you want to be accepted by someone else. Because if you go out seeking acceptance or validation, you know, you'll constantly seek it. But it's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to be okay with yourself. It's okay to help other people. It's okay not to know the answers. And it's okay to take a chance. It's okay to take a chance and not know everything. And I wake up every day and I'm amazed about how much I don't know. True story. You know, true story. But if I see something or I hear someone talking and I don't understand, I'm like, oh, what is that? What dance was that? What TV show was that? Oh, what are you studying? You know? And I'm just always open to learn new things.
Seems like you really have a thirst for knowledge.
Yes. And I think the other big thing is don't forget where you come from. And I think, again, that's what keeps me humble, because at the end of the day, if you're doing things just to have it, or you feel like I've made it out, you know, if you lose your job, you lose your house, you lose your car, you know, your colleagues may not be there, your coworkers may not be there, but it's your friends and your family who knew you from when you were growing up who is going to be there for you. And you know what? That's the comfort that I have as well, is that I know my family is always going to love me and be there for me. My friends are always going to love me and be there for me if I lose my job, if I'm not who everyone has built me up as this prominent woman. They are there for me and who I am.
That's important.
That's awesome.
And we thank you for talking with us
you.
today.
Thank you.
It sounds like a surround theme today has been living your truth, and you look like you do it well. So thank you again.
Thank
being
you
here
for
with
having
us.
me.
And thank you all for tuning in and listening with us today.
This is Talk Back for Teens, and make sure that you check us out on our website, talkbackforteens.com. You can also check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Talk Back for Teens. That's for teens. And thanks again for joining us.
I'm Olivia Harrison.
And I'm Bernard Rogers.
We'll hope to see you soon.
Goodbye. Yes. That's right. Same thing happened. Well, he didn't get shot in the foot, but he got shot over some sneakers.
He got shot, died?
Yeah.
No, I'm from Virginia.
Something like atrociously bad.
When you're frowning on me out in the bay.
They could just cut it.
Yeah, that's
out.
how it is.
Hold me down and kiss me underneath the tree, just like the way
Great job.
Thank you.
It was great.
Finding everything is beautiful and glowing. And I swear that I can just smell the sea.
So wild, though. I'm so sorry for that first story. I was like, what am I supposed to do again?
Precious sneakers.
And then you asked us what we thought about it. You're like holding on for dear life.
Lying in the flowers, talking to the clouds about the problem with the hole in the sky.
Good job.
I asked you what was wrong. You stuck in my eye. Walking through the hills to home is
And then I try to so it's just that.
hold you in a kiss, you tell me that I missed you. I'm sorry that I let you go.